She's completely flirtatious with him.
Blake Lively completely exposes herself.
She seems like a bully. She was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat.
Ryan Reynolds just breaks down with grief after getting betrayed by his own wife. Honestly, Blake probably felt the same way, because after 15 years of marriage, she was busy tolerating his endless bromances.
Kind of making a lot of gay jokes and like trying to normalize all of these gay jokes. But Hugh Jackman has been plagued with rumors of homosexuality throughout his entire career.
They both deserved each other, and guess who's stuck grinding in this mess now? Their poor children.
He's one of those guys, so they are absolute bullies.
Ryan Reynolds, the guy Hollywood literally paraded around as the perfect husband, the ultimate family man, the guy who could do no wrong, just watched his entire Disney fairy tale life explode like a cheap firework. The man who used to flash that smirk on every red carpet, acting like he had it all figured out, is now standing in the ashes of his own disaster.
Ryan Reynolds, by all accounts, seems like a great guy. He is acting. By all accounts, he is a total pain in the ass.
And why? Because Blake Lively, the same Blake that everyone thought was Miss Classy, decided to completely betray him in the most pathetic, embarrassing way possible. Oh, it gets better. Not only did she cheat, but she tried to upgrade him for Justin Baldoni, a man who, let's be real, is famous, but not Ryan Reynolds famous.
A man being fully castrated by a woman who is using toxic feminism to get what she wants, right?
Let's rewind the disaster clock real quick. It's December 2024. Blake's fantasy falls apart, and suddenly, boom, lawsuits flying everywhere. Blake cries harassment, Baldoni counters, sues, and guess who's looking like a fool in the middle of it all? Our boy Ryan.
She wants us to believe this is actionable harassment, what we just witnessed here. You tell me whether that's what that looks like to you.
Just when the world thought they were about to crown themselves as the next Hollywood royalty, Candace Owens came crashing through the illusion, tearing down the fake facade. She didn't hold back either, revealing that Ryan wasn't just covering up Blake's mess. There was so much more lurking beneath the surface. From fake fronts to deep insecurities, she exposed it all. One moment, Ryan's grinning at us, selling Mint Mobile with that signature charm. The next, he's scrambling to fix the mess he never saw coming, and all of it playing out in front of the public eye.
She, time and time again, she accuses him of doing something, which then when you hear the full context, is an absolute nothing burger.
Now let's talk about Blake for a second. This woman really believed she was the star of her own rom-com while filming It Ends With Us back in 2023. It wasn't just acting though. Oh no, she was literally chasing Justin Baldoni around like a fangirl at a comic convention. And trust me, it wasn't in any cute, flirty way. It was a whole different vibe, one that made it pretty clear she was way too into the role, and not just on screen.
She's completely flirtatious with him.
We're talking full court press here. Blake was out here rewriting steamy scenes just to get closer to Justin Baldoni. And let's not forget the cherry on top, her creamy, flirty comment on Baldoni's workout video, where she literally said, "Amazing, now try it pregnant." Like, who even says that? Who looks at a married man in front of everyone and thinks it's adorable to drop that line? The whole thing was uncomfortable, to say the least.
When Ms. Lively later objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, "I'm not even attracted."
But the best part? Baldoni wasn't buying any of it. He shut her down cold. No drama, no theatrics, just straight up told her, "I'm not even attracted to you." And that's when it got ugly. You know Blake's ego couldn't handle that kind of rejection. Not her. In her mind, Golden Girl Blake Lively doesn't get rejected. So what does she do? She pulls out the dirtiest move in the Hollywood playbook, files harassment claims. Because obviously, if you can't have the guy, you destroy him, right? That's Hollywood 101.
And that's another allegation, Holmes, is that she started to rewrite scenes that nobody had asked her to rewrite.
Behind-the-scenes leaks didn't waste any time showing who the real villain was either. Turns out, it was Blake all along. She was the one making the moves, not Baldoni. Every steamy scene pushed by Blake, every awkward comment, all her. The desperate attempts to grab attention. You guessed it, all Blake. Baldoni? He was just trying to survive the circus without getting completely canceled. And honestly, he almost didn't make it out unscathed.
Wasn't the best place. I told him I was exhausted. And I haven't given myself time to recover or time to heal.
Meanwhile, back at Dumb and Dumber headquarters, Ryan Reynolds is there, loyally backing his woman like a golden retriever. The poor guy was completely fooled, believing every single one of Blake's lies.
I'm just shocked how many lies were told, okay?
I mean, he didn't just believe her. He went full nuclear on Baldoni's career without even bothering to check the facts. His agency, WME, dropped Baldoni faster than Ryan drops a bad Deadpool joke. All because Ryan was so desperate to protect his little perfect family image. And here's where it gets even dumber.
And here is part of that leaked audio as of yesterday. Take a listen to Justin Baldoni groveling, is the only way to describe it, to Blake Lively.
I want to start with an apology. I'm reading the part of the message. My heart's...
Summer 2024 rolls around and guess what? A fake voicemail magically appears out of thin air, allegedly from Baldoni apologizing to Blake. Super convenient, right? Except tech experts didn't waste any time tearing it apart. Turns out it was chopped up, stitched together, and completely fake. Metadata analysis showed the thing was faker than Ryan's so-called wholesome dad routine.
No amount of I'm sorry will ever undo it. People hurt me.
So now Ryan's sitting there like a complete idiot, realizing Blake not only lied, but essentially staged a whole fake scandal to cover up her own humiliating rejection. And it gets even better. Leaks start flooding out, showing that Blake was sneaking behind Ryan's back during filming, rewriting scenes just to get more private time with Baldoni. I mean, imagine thinking your wife is just super passionate about her craft, when she's actually crafting her way into another man's trailer. Brutal.
Where Blake Lively completely exposes herself and just says it out loud with no qualms. This is what I do. The whole thing Justin's put out in his documents, she just...
Late 2024 hits and sponsors start running for the hills. Let's be honest, no company wants to slap their logo on a sinking ship. The perfect couple brand that made them millions? Toast. Dead. Burnt. Ryan's precious family image was as fake as Blake's crocodile tears on set. Nobody's buying the act anymore.
This person is not an honest broker. I believe her less than ever. I actually disbelieve her fully now.
And the worst part, Ryan didn't just lose face. He lost everything he'd built, all because he was trying to protect a woman who was out here playing Hollywood Tinder while married. The same woman who used the Me Too movement like it was her personal revenge tool because a married man said, "Nah, I'm good." If humiliation were an Olympic sport, Ryan and Blake would be taking home the gold.
And like I told you, that accusation, it can be real in a lot of circumstances. It goes on a lot in Hollywood.
It's almost funny in a tragic way. Here's a guy who spent his entire career building up this goofy, charming, relatable dad persona, only for the world to find out he'd been played by a woman who thought she was too pretty to ever hear the word no. And the second someone told her no, she burned her whole life down, trying to make it their fault. But hey, at least now Ryan gets to experience what it's like to be just another Hollywood punchline. Congrats, buddy. You finally got a reality check. Too bad it came wrapped in lawsuits, fake voicemails, career suicide, and a wife who couldn't even cheat successfully.
I'm really sorry. I fucked up. It's a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from...
Blake Lively didn't just shatter your life. She exposed you both for exactly what you are. Two frauds who thought they could lie to everyone forever without ever facing the music. You'd think after Blake's disaster with Baldoni and Ryan's public humiliation, they'd maybe take a little break from embarrassing themselves. But nope, of course not. Just when you thought it couldn't get messier, along comes the bombshell that absolutely nuked whatever dignity Ryan Reynolds had left.
Guys can hang out with one another, but he feels like he has to make that effort. So he's like, nothing's weird here, nothing's weird. Romances are so normal. Notoriously, that's the reason why he flew out Liz playing.
Blake's old interview resurfaced, where she basically hinted she was stuck in a business partnership marriage. Yep, she said the quiet part out loud. Turns out, the picture-perfect Reynolds Lively love story wasn't a love story at all. It was a transaction, a brand partnership, a fake fairy tale sold to idiots like us. So we buy more tickets, more gin, more phone plans, and of course more lies.
They weren't the first to do this. It was Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds, this was their strategy, and now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle.
And it gets worse. Candace Owens exposed the beard marriage theory, flat out saying what everyone else was whispering. Blake married Ryan to cover up his real interests, because apparently it wasn't just acting gigs Ryan was chasing. Oh yes, the glorious bromances, and not in the haha, let's play football way. No, in a way that makes you seriously question why a grown man with 4 kids acts like he's auditioning for a romantic comedy 24/7s.
I have a lot of questions about Ryan Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal. And obviously, this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public's face.
Let's not pretend this came out of nowhere either. In a 2025 Men's Journal interview, Ryan Reynolds himself compared his friendship with Hugh Jackman to a marriage. A marriage. You're telling me that a man supposedly madly in love with Blake Lively goes out here telling the world that Hugh Jackman is basically his husband? Make it make sense. Candace Owens didn't even have to dig deep. Ryan handed her the shovel and jumped into the grave himself.
He's kind of making a lot of gay jokes and like trying to normalize all of these gay jokes. But Hugh Jackman has been plagued with rumors of homosexuality throughout his entire career.
And it's not like it was a one-time joke either. Owens pointed out Ryan's weird obsession with bromances. First, it was Jake Gyllenhaal, then Hugh Jackman, always making sure the public knows just how deep those friendships go. Always throwing them in our faces, always trying way too hard to convince everyone it's totally normal, totally casual. Just 2 bras being bras. Sure, buddy.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Hefner have a relationship or something. That happened to Justin Baldoni, whether or not he wants to admit that or sees that.